The war in Ukraine that began in February 2022 has sent shockwaves far beyond the battlefield, creating a cascade of economic disruption that continues to reshape the global economy in 2025. From food shortages in Lebanon to energy crises in Europe, from currency collapses in emerging markets to shipping disruptions in the Red Sea, these interconnected crises reveal just how vulnerable our global economic system has become. Ukraine and Russia together account for around a third of global wheat exports. When Ukrainian ports were blockaded and Russian grain shipments curtailed, countries highly dependent on these supplies faced acute shortages. In Lebanon, household bread costs doubled. In Egypt, over 70 million people rely on subsidized rations based on wheat mostly imported from Russia and Ukraine. Yemen, importing roughly 45% of its wheat from these two countries, saw acute food insecurity affect nearly 19 million people by mid-2022. Many governments lacked reserves to buffer the shock. Sanctions on Russian oil and gas exports sharply curtailed flows to Europe, causing natural gas and crude prices to surge. Europe scrambled to replace Russian gas with LNG imports from the US, Qatar, and other suppliers. But costs remained elevated, destabilizing budgets and contributing to global inflation. Meanwhile, instability in the Middle East, particularly between Israel and Iran, has elevated the economic stakes even further. In June 2025, Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites triggered oil price spikes of 7 to 11% in a single day, disrupting markets and sparking fuel shortages. Iran's parliament even voted to consider closing the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point through which around 20 to 25% of global oil and LNG flows. Analysts suggest that even temporary closure could raise Brent crude above $90 to $110 per barrel and severely disrupt global energy trade. The economic fallout has been starkly uneven. Oil-exporting Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, benefit from high energy prices, attracting foreign investment. Dubai saw a surge in Russian and Ukrainian investment, driving real estate and tourism growth, with a 34% rise in Russian FDI in 2022 alone. Conversely, low-income oil-importing states, Lebanon, Jordan, Tunisia, Egypt, Yemen, faced currency collapse, debt distress, and political instability. Egypt repeatedly turned to the IMF. Tunisia teetered on the brink. Lebanon's debt exceeded 150% of GDP, and Yemen's humanitarian crisis deepened. Shipping disruptions further exacerbated economic pain. The Houthi blockade in the Red Sea forced massive rerouting of ships around Africa. This destroyed the revenue base of the Suez Canal. Egypt's annual lifeline dropped from $9.4 billion to $7.20 billion, and bankrupted Israel's Eilat port. On the financial side, sovereign debt risk is rising sharply among fragile and middle-income economies. With global interest rates elevated, countries like Tunisia, Egypt, and Jordan find it increasingly difficult to refinance debt, forcing them into costly bailout programs. Looking forward, several fault lines remain. Cyber threats add another layer of vulnerability while nations scramble to diversify their energy and food supplies. The disruptions are pushing states and corporations to rethink their exposure to single-source dependencies, investing in strategic stockpiles and alternative corridors. International actors must pursue coordinated responses, scaling food aid in vulnerable states, supporting IMF instruments, and investing in renewable energy. Without such measures, the overlapping crises of food, fuel, and finance risk tipping fragile states into chaos and undermining broader global stability. The world stands at an inflection point where inaction risks systemic failure, while proactive collaboration offers a chance to redefine global economic security in our multipolar, crisis-aware era.